Hello again, friends of Burnt River Ranch. Welcome to another video. We're starting this one off just like we do with a lot of videos, milking Penelope. This week on the farm, we finally weaned Penelope's calf from this spring, so Moonshine is officially weaned and I am back to milking full-time. The way I've done it in the past is I like to use one of those quiet wean nose flaps. I shove it in their nose, which is easier said than done, and what that does is it makes it so when they go to nurse on the cow, they accomplish nothing. So they learn that every time they try, they get nothing, which I think is important for a cow that's going to be in milk in the future, especially if you're planning to keep that heifer calf around as a future milk cow one day. So I'm going to leave that nose flap in her nose for 1 to 2 weeks before I take it out, and then I will probably permanently separate them for the rest of the year until we officially dry off Penelope. That way, if she does go to try again, I don't trust Penelope, and she might let her nurse because that's her baby. So I will probably end up separating them anyways until dry off, just to be on the safe side. I don't want her nursing her and keeping her in milk when I'm trying to dry her off. I thought I would do this job when it was warm out here. We've been getting a spell of some fairly warm weather, and that's been fun in a way that it's made my milking go faster and easier. I haven't had frozen hoses, I haven't had to worry about heating up the oil on the vac pump. Everything just goes so much smoother when it's warm out. Unfortunately, that also makes a lot of ice around here, which is kind of a pain in the butt. It's annoying when there's ice everywhere and you're trying to walk around and do chores and move animals. So that part's annoying, but I'm not complaining because I prayed for snow and I prayed for it to melt to fill up our dugout. If you watched our previous videos, you know that our dugout was looking pretty empty going into winter, so this feels like my prayers are being answered. While Penelope's being milked, I'm going to mix up her grain. I am putting this homemade concoction in there. It's actually my own homemade Excel 7000. So I live in Canada and I really want to try Synergy animal products, but we don't have a dealer in Canada. And with the postal strike and shipping and customs and the exchange rate, it didn't make sense to buy those products on a chance they might not work. So I made my own. Honestly, I've been using it on Penelope for about a week now and it's working. So whatever's in here, all these different ingredients that I have mixed together in here is working. And I'm also doing a teat infusion as well, but that's done. I'm done with that. Thank God, 'cause she hates it. She really hates it. I know there's some people that say that when you are giving intermammary infusions to cows, they don't mind. She minds. So that's been fun, but I will say that it worked. It has staved off mastitis without having to use antibiotics. I am definitely a skeptic when it comes to trying holistic medicine, so I honestly wasn't expecting anything good to come of this. If anything, I was expecting to just try this and then have to resort to antibiotics, which I've done in the past. I was really skeptical that this was going to work, but yeah, I made up a concoction of different things and I infused it in her teats and gave it to her in her grain every milking, and so far her milk was starting to get clumpy during filtering, and it's now filtering completely clear again. And we were able to prevent any kind of major mastitis from happening. So there was no redness, there was no warmth, there was no hard lumpy quarters, there was no super clumpy milk, and everything seems to be going good. This happens with Penelope every single time we wean her calf, or apparently after she just first freshens. We do calf share, and I'm not interested in having a conversation about people's opinions on if you should or should not calf share. In our situation, it's what works for us. If it doesn't work for you and you prefer to take the calf off right away and bottle feed, that is your choice, and you go ahead and do that. I am not judging you. I know some people will say that that is a better protocol to follow if you have a cow that is more prone to mastitis. But in our situation, that is just not what works for us. While she has the calf on her and we are calf sharing, she seems to have absolutely no issues with mastitis whatsoever. It's just when you first take that calf off of her and wean her from the calf that we usually expect her to get mastitis. Next year, we'll have 2 cows in milk around the same time. So it's highly possible that we might utilize Penelope as a nurse cow because she has taken other calves in the past that aren't her own. So maybe we'll give that a try next year. I really don't need 2 cows in milk for our family. There's only 4 of us, so we can only drink so much milk, and I only have so much time in the day to deal with all that dairy. And as you know, we live in Canada, so we can't sell dairy products, can't sell raw milk. And so I have limited options on what I can do with it. And I can feed some to the pigs, but you know, I'd rather not. I'd rather not have to do that. We'll have Pixie, our new heifer, so we'll see what her lactation is like, see how much of a producer she is, and go from there. I specifically timed when we were going to wean our calf to have decent weather because I knew I was going to have to do some kind of treatment of some sort on Penelope, and milking's hard enough in the cold weather, but then adding on top of it having to do different treatments for a cow is a pain in the butt when you don't have a heated area to milk in. So we milk outside under a lean-to by our farrowing barn, and that's where our milk pump is. So we have an insulated building where our milk pump stays, and I do run a heat lamp over it before milking time just to warm up the oil and give the pump a little bit easier start. But yeah, we're milking outside, so it can get pretty miserable out here when you're milking and trying to keep everything warm, trying to keep hoses from freezing, and trying to keep your hands from freezing. Awfully slippery around here today, and has been for a while. Thankfully, Penelope has a couple brain cells and knows to pick the least icy path. I always leave a little bit of grain in my bucket so she'll follow me back to her pen. So when I was researching these holistic type meds, the one that I'm giving her, my makeshift Excel 7000, is one that they said you have to do an oral drench. So you have to basically put a syringe and a drench tip down their throat and give it to them orally like that. And I was like, yeah, I really don't want to have to do that every day for 6 days. So I was a little bit leery about mixing it into her grain because I didn't think that she would eat it because, well, there's some stuff in there that probably doesn't taste very good. It's kind of like Buckley's for cows. But I'm pleasantly surprised that she did eat it. And the first couple days I mixed it with molasses because I thought that that was the only way I was going to get her to eat it. And I'm happy to report that I no longer have to do that. But before that happened, Yeah, the stupid molasses got on everything. I hate molasses for that reason. Anybody else have that happen? Yeah, I got all over my teat cannulas, or cannulas, or however the heck you say it, all over my bag bomb container, all over my teat dip container. I don't know what it is about those stinking molasses containers, but the lid, for some reason, does not keep it contained if it tips over in the slightest. So that's fun. I love cleaning sticky molasses off of everything.